Welcome to my final project video summary for EDP 643. My name is Ariel Shirley. In this video, I will be discussing the website that I created for my final project, some of the decisions I made along the way, my design process, the enablers and barriers that affected it, as well as future considerations that I have now that the project is completed. First, I'd briefly like to take you on a tour of my website. I made this with Google Sites, which is a really great resource for those who want to just make a simple website for their users. For this website, I focus on a target audience of future educators and college students. Here's the homepage that I created where I sort of discuss what they'll be seeing, and then I discuss some of the reasons that they should use interactive media in the classroom. And this is sort of the format that I use throughout the rest of the website, where I offer an introductory text, an image, a bulleted list, and then a further reading and resources section with links to other websites. I did it this way so that it would be easier to read online and it would be much more accessible to users. For the rest of the website, I broke it up into 4 different sections with the 3 types of Web 2.0 tools that I wanted to cover, which are image tools, video tools, and presentation tools, and I offer an example of each. On the final page, I summarize what they would have learned and offer a fun video, and then a final resources section for future learning in this area. In terms of decisions, I just chose to design a website instead of an application. There was an option on what to do because I have more website design experience than application design. So I felt much more comfortable using those skills than trying to learn new ones in a short amount of time. And I also thought that a website would be better for this information because there's a lot of text in research that I needed to pass along, and I thought that would be better than an application. It would be much easier to read and digest. I decided to use Google Sites for my website platform because I am familiar with Google's application suite. I also found that after exploring Google Sites that it was much more easier to use than other website builders, so I thought it would take less time to use it than another one. And I also liked that it was pretty easy to use, especially when it came to the design features. It seemed that everything was easy to grasp and navigate, especially for first-time users. I also decided to choose Web 2.0 tools as my topic because I think that they're very interesting and that they can offer a lot of benefits for teachers and students in the classroom because they create a more active and creative classroom. And I really think that they're going to continue to grow in popularity as time goes on because there's a shift towards using those tools in the future. And then I'd like to discuss my design process. So once my topic was chosen, I had to narrow down my examples. I decided to focus on my 3 areas: image hosting, video creation, presentation tools, because I thought that those were, 1, the most interesting because they had some really cool project ideas, and 2, because it kind of hit a lot of avenues that are used in Web 2.0 tools. And they're kind of easy to use too. A lot of them you can just use them as a first-time user and kind of get what's going on. So I thought they were good examples. Then after narrowing down my fields, I had to choose an example for each. I actually explored about 3 or 4 examples of each type before narrowing down to the 3 that I used. And then after that, I started making the website, which spent the majority of my time trying to decide what kind of theme to use and what color scheme to use for all the way up until like the end of my website. I decided to use orange because I thought that would pop. But after toying around a bit, I actually decided that the blue looked better. It's more subdued and professional. A lot of my time just was like a lot of editing and nitpicking and just making it look really good. And then, of course, then I had to work on how to include text, images, and video on the website. As I was talking about earlier, I tried to make it as mobile friendly and online reading friendly as possible by kind of avoiding the wall of text, which is just like huge amount of text, and trying to break it up so that it's more easy to follow and read. I also decided to use the images that are found through the image search on Google Sites because they are automatically come up as labeled for reuse, so there wouldn't be any copyright issues through that. So I actually made it much easier. Although that made it easier, actually, one feature of Google Sites made it harder because they only offered YouTube videos, and I was trying to find training videos to add to my website, but I could only find 2 because YouTube didn't have very many videos, so that was kind of an issue. So I spent a lot of time doing that, but that was kind of my design process. In terms of enablers and barriers, I found that there were a lot of great free resources available on the internet, both in terms of just Web 2.0 tools, their definition, their benefits, and their use in the classroom, as well as just lots of examples on different types of Web 2.0 tools and really cool projects that you can use from pre-K to K through 12 through college and the workforce to enhance learning. So I thought that was really great. I didn't have to really worry about finding resources. I also found that the simplicity and wealth of features of Google Sites was very helpful because I found it easy to edit. It automatically saves, so I didn't have to worry about losing my data after working on it. And I also liked that it was integrated with Google Apps, so image search, video search, everything was much easier to integrate into my website. So it really made the design process much easier to do. In terms of barriers, Google Sites was also an issue because it had a lot of design constraints. As I was saying earlier, Google Sites only allows YouTube videos to be used, which is a problem because I really, really could not find any good professional videos on YouTube for my topic. So that was an issue. I was thinking that maybe if I went on Vimeo, I might find more, but I couldn't add that to the website. So that was an issue. There was also a lot of issues when it came to design features. Like I wanted to change some of the text, wasn't able to. Some of the highlighting, like on my website, you can't change the highlighting on the navigation bar. I found that kind of annoying. So although it was simple and easy to use, and I found that like it made a really great professional website, I wasn't able to create the exact website that I wanted because the features weren't as flexible as I was hoping it would be. So that was about it. But let me just discuss some future considerations before we go. Overall, I was pleased with my design choices because I was able to create a website that contained all the information and resources that I needed to pass along to my students. I also liked that I was able to create a professional looking website that was easy to navigate. And I also learned some new skills, like the web design and Web 2.0 tools along the way. However, if I were going to make another website in the future, I definitely would have used a different website app because it just was a little too simplistic and not as flexible as I wanted it to be. And I'd like to actually, if I had the time, maybe create my own tutorial videos for these things and my own resources on the website. I kind of wish I had the time and the resources in order to create those things. But other than that, I'm very happy with my final project and glad I was able to create the website that I did. So thank you for watching. And I hope that you learned something. All right, bye.